Hello everybody, you're listening to Mark Ling and welcome along to this webinar on which is going to teach you some up-to-date SEO and traffic strategies. A lot has been going on in the world of internet marketing in the last 12 months or so with regards to all sorts of things, from Google's more prominence of their authorship markup to just algorithmic changes, the underlying algorithmic changes, and then there's the Panda stuff going on and the Penguin updates as well. So all sorts of things. And MSN Bing has become a better search engine during that time also. So lots has been going on. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my special guest, who is an absolute expert at search engine optimization and is going to teach you a lot of great information here on this webinar. And we'll be able to take your live questions later in the webinar as well. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Brian Johnson. Welcome along, Brian.
All right, hey everybody, good to be here. And Mark, thanks for hosting. Nice to be on the webinar today. Got a lot of great information, really the kind of stuff that I'm doing right now with my business, and we'll share that as we move forward. So great to be here. Mark, are you recording? I did want to ask you that before we get going.
Yep, I've already hit record. So
excellent.
But bear in mind, everybody, I'm recording from a hotel in Toronto, Canada. So so just in case the recording doesn't go through or things cut out, I wouldn't necessarily recommend leaving unless you absolutely have to, just because of the fact that I am recording from a hotel room and it can be a bit dodgy at times, but hopefully it'll go through, and if so, then I'll mail out the recording in a few days.
Excellent. Well, sounds good. So we're going to go ahead and I'll kind of transition over to the PowerPoint. And Mark, let me know if that people are seeing that okay.
Yep, people can see your screen just fine. Or at least
okay, so we're in the full presentation now, and so I'm on the right there, and Mark looks about 10 or 15 years, maybe, who knows, much younger than me. I noticed, gosh, no
That's
wrinkles.
That's a horrible picture of me.
You look, I took that this morning. I'm like, damn, it's like he's staring me down like Chuck Norris. But regardless, I've known Mark for a while. We both do a lot of SEO, and today that's really what I want to share with you is, some of the strategies that I use today in my own business, some of the things that are working for me, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I've been full-time since 2003. I've made tremendous money with AdSense as well as affiliate marketing. I got started with product creation in 2008. I've earned more than 7 figures online, and really I want to let you know that the thing that I really focus on is simplicity and systems. A lot of times, if you don't understand that this is complicated, and I think everyone gets that, but if you don't make a conscious decision to simplify as much as possible, it can get a bit overwhelming. So that's one of the things I really try to focus on, is keeping things simple, staying on point, prioritizing my actions. You're looking at a screenshot I took just today, and a lot of the sites I have online, I use those for, again, affiliate sales. I make money with AdSense. This is a new list I started building in the vegan space several weeks ago. Already about 300 opt-ins in, again, just a couple of weeks, all from free traffic online, and here's an affiliate commission. I just want to share these with you so you know that absolutely, I'm the guy that can help you and give you some insight today, and that I've done this a number of times and whatnot. Here you can see a search term for Google Panda case study, and I'm number 1 with my website and number 2 on Google. Here's another website number in the top 10 or so, a rather new site, ranking again in the top 10 for orchid care. And I want to let you know that I feel so blessed to be able to come to you today. And this picture is basically a view out my office window of Cheyenne Mountain. And one of my goals over the last 15 years is been able to has been to come out to Colorado, to move out here, to buy a great house, just kind of the American dream, the entrepreneurial dream, wherever you're living, whatever you're doing. And I feel blessed, and internet marketing has allowed me to do that. And it could do the same thing for you. Here, me and my dog Otis were in Aspen, just really enjoying the flexibility that online marketing can provide. And again, I want to show you these pictures just to put this in your mindset that it's very, very possible. When we got started today, Mark mentioned, I'm in Toronto and I'm traveling to New York, and then I'm going to go meet some other folks, and we're going to talk about some niche marketing in the dating space. And if you start believing it can happen, you can have that for yourself. And that's really what I've been doing over the last 10 to 15 years. This is in Vegas, just kind of acting kind of goofy, the sixth Beatle on your left. So a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. This is my promise to you. In this live demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can easily overcome 4 make-or-break SEO factors, allowing you to rank in Google post-Penguin and drive more money-making traffic to your websites. So we're going to talk specifically about 4 critical things today. Number 1, let's talk about how to create unique content that your visitors will love, share, and promote for you. And really today we're going to talk about kind of the better content curation system. Content curation is something that's been kind of topical lately. I'm going to show you how I do it and why I think I'm onto a very winning system. And we'll also talk about how you can uncover and incorporate multiple keyword variations as well as related LSI terms that can boost your income, that can boost your incoming search engine traffic and increase your page's relevancy in the search engine. So, today it's all about, again, systems, having things at your fingertips so you can take action, you can get the great results, and you can move on. You can do extra work and make more money. You can spend time with your friends and family. It's really about having those systems in place. And third, we're going to talk about how you can give visitors the very thing that they want, which is media-rich content, and that includes videos, photos, and how doing so can absolutely penguin-proof your site, lending to higher rankings that stick. Lastly, we'll talk about how you can reduce the amount of time and or money that you're spending with various link building tactics that are simply doomed to fail, and how you can create an army of loyal followers and fans that can take care of your promotion for you. So first off, I want to talk a little bit about the Panda update and Penguin and what all this means to you. We're going to talk a little bit too about why site building tactics and strategies of years ago are absolutely doomed, and how you can kind of like make sure that you're not
Brian,
making
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, just really quick. I thought I'd also just mention for those, because I advertised it with the webinar when I mailed out for it. I also let people know that you would be showing people your software at the end of the webinar, which will allow people to all the stuff that you're teaching on this webinar. It's going to be a whole lot easier using the software. It's under $100, so it's not expensive. The webinar is like packed with great content, so you guys can learn a lot of great stuff from the webinar, whether or not you want to buy the software. But I thought I'd just let people know that that'll be demonstrated at the end of the webinar as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to definitely, my goal today is to really show you guys the kind of stuff that I've been doing, and then how I systematize it. So whether you're on a shoestring budget or you want to kind of get the easy fix, that's exactly the kind of stuff we're going to talk about.
Cool. I'll let you carry on.
Awesome. So guys, get the most out of this training and do yourself a favor. Think big picture, take notes, focus on key points. And one of the things I thought about for a while now that has been so helpful for me as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, is to really realize, I've got to get certain things done. I need to build assets. And every day when I get started, I say, what can I do right now today to get a little bit closer to my goal? So if it's launching a new website, I need to post content. You can't just spend all your time on forums or reading. You got to take action. So every day, what can I do right now today to get a little closer to my goal. And as Mark said, absolutely, I have something for sale. However, I'm prepared to deliver actionable advice based on the methods and tactics that I've personally used and have taught many others with success. And this stuff is absolutely student approved, and so many of my members have gone on to create money-making websites, and that's what we're going to talk about. I want to let you know too, Mark, I want to give away the software, the plugin that we've developed. And I'm going to ask a question in a few minutes, and if you can kind of just keep an eye on the first person that gets that right and give me that name, we'll make sure that they get access to that. And with that, again, guys, so we're going to give something away. You know, just kind of focus on this presentation, and we'll give out some cool plug-in swag. Let's talk a little bit about search engine optimization doomsday and old school sniper sites. So, you know, back in the day, it was just absolutely crazy, and you know, the internet is always evolving, and you want to stay up to date so you can, you know, make changes as necessary to be able to really move forward and cash in. And years ago, a lot of people were riding this wave of kind of sniper sites where you find a search term like Orchid Care was a great example, or maybe grandfather clock or vintage grandfather clock, and you'd get a domain based on that exact term, like vintage grandfather clock. You could launch the site, and literally by the power of the domain, you could get a number of these online up in ranking really, really quick. And they were very small sites, maybe 1 or 2 pages of content, that's it. And it was really just about, you know, cranking them out and cashing in. And unfortunately, you know, those days are over. And while thousands of marketers made out with thousands and just really cashed in, those days are long gone. And I want to share with you why. And this really taps into what is happening with the Panda and the Penguin updates. So what the point of the, let me go back here. We skipped one here. So the point of failure, can you guys give me some ideas? You know, what was it about those sniper sites that really it doesn't work anymore? And that answer is Google Panda. And what I want to ask you is, you know, why is it that Google Panda effectively backhanded and slapped severely so many people's websites, and what changed with the algorithm? And to really understand that, we kind of have to go back and think a little bit about how the algorithm worked prior to the Google Panda update. And at the time, the algorithm was based on keywords and things like keyword density and title tags and descriptions, alt tags. It was based on incoming links to your website and the page rank that those incoming links derived. Go. So, you know, what's really interesting is that that's kind of the update, that's kind of the algorithm prior to Google Panda. And newsflash, Google Panda is based on keywords, it's based on keyword density, a lot of the same exact stuff, like the title of your page, the description, and so on. But what is it that really makes the difference today is that your site really needs to have a passing grade, and it needs to really be liked by folks on your website. And today, Google is actively collecting data, crunching that data, and it's based on your exact website. And my question is to you, how the heck is Google figuring out that information? What is it that Google is what is it and why is it? How are they able to basically take this information and make a judgment in real time based on the very people that are actually visiting your website? And Mark, what are some of the replies?
I'll read out some of them, but you should be able to see them too now. I've just made you an organizer. People are saying social media, social signals, user experience, like, share, Facebook, Twitter,
Okay,
Google
I see the
Plus,
questions now.
Google
Awesome. So
Plus, Google
crawlers,
Plus and
Google
bounce
Analytics,
rate.
social media, time on site, social networks. Guys, these are all really great answers, and it's kind of right. But, someone mentioned social sites or bounce rate. Well, how are they getting the bounce rate? What is it about? How is Google mining this data? And someone mentioned analytics. So that's one of the correct answers. And the other is the Google browser, Chrome. So have you guys ever thought, why the heck did Google spend the time to move forward and create a browser? It's not necessarily because Google's a great company and they're all here for our own benefit. Once Google Chrome was on the market, Google had basically a backdoor to collect statistical data, to mine that data, and there's so many people that use Chrome today, and that's exactly how they're moving forward and deciding if your site gets the passing grade and whatnot. So
yeah, Brian,
that's really a big deal.
They also use the they've also in the past, anyway, I'm not sure about right now, but in the past they've used other things like buying data from certain companies, and they've certain ISPs, certain companies, and also they have like used their toolbar and so forth. So, and then they've used their own results as well, because they get to see if someone clicks on one result and then goes away and clicks on another result in the search engines, even if it's not a Google browser.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mark. And it's all, if you really look at Google over the past few years and how they're monetizing this data that's coming into them, it's kind of scary. Someone mentioned Google Analytics. That's a great example. Just watching how people react on the search engine. But now it's to the point where they put out a browser, and that is really the amount of data that flows through that. And that's something that we really want to be aware of. The bottom line today is that if people don't like your website, Google's going to know, and that is what Google Panda is all about.
Google Plus is another good example. When people are logged into Google Plus, Google knows what you're searching and what you're doing, depending on what your privacy settings are when you set up your account.
Yeah, exactly. Good points, Mark, and I appreciate it. It's always fun to make these webinars a bit more interactive. So the good news, and like I said at the beginning of this webinar, is that I like simplicity. There are 10,000 million things you can focus on, and you'd be fine to do that, but it's a far better method or system to really understand and prioritize what's most important. And these 4 things lead to solid rankings when you get good statistics. So number 1 is bounce rate, and we're going to talk exactly about what these are, how you can look for them, how you can improve things like bounce rate. Now the other ones are just super simple. The average time on your website, average page views, and after I've had a site online for about 6 months, I start paying attention to return visits. So wouldn't you know, Mark, that the screenshot that I have here for demonstration purposes today is actually for one of your products, and my site ranks number 1. Actually, I have 2 sites in the top 5 or 6 for Affiliate Blueprint bonus, and I want to draw your attention to that yellow kind of highlight. It says block all results from AffiliateBlueprintBonus.com, and Google popped that on the search engine results pages after I visited the site and I clicked back on my browser. So this is kind of like the worst kind of slap you can imagine. I mean, if basically you were to search for something like Affiliate Blueprint Bonus and click on the website and hit the back browser and go back to Google, that's sending such a clear signal to Google. And when people are searching and do that kind of thing on your site, it's exactly what you don't want to have happen. So we'll talk about how to make sure that doesn't happen. So here are some of my minimum site goals when I move forward. Number 1, I want to have a bounce rate of 70% or less. I want to have average views of more than 2 page views. Average page views more than 2. And average time on site, at least 1 minute and 30 seconds. And as I said, after I've had a site online for a period of time, I want to have my return visits above 6%. Now here you can see a statistic screen cap that I took from my iPad not too long ago, and you can see here a period of about 3 months or so. I've driven 12,000 unique visitors, and here we see average page views is 2.4, average time on site is 2.34, and the return visits is about 14%. This statistic here is for new visits, which is 85%, so we can determine that return visits is around 14 or 15 or so percent. So these are pretty good, and this is exactly what I try to improve, and these are the things that I watch. So that data that Google is mining, that is the gatekeeper. And if you have poor numbers, it's really hard to get past and rank well in Google. So when we talk about those sniper sites of years ago where people were just grabbing domains, slapping up sites, that model is absolutely doomed. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but we're going to talk about some of these things today so you know how to move forward. You know how to create these sites that rank well and ultimately drive more visitors, make you more money, and so on. So if we think about kind of those affiliate sites, those sniper sites, one of the things that's troublesome is that leaving through an affiliate link. So oftentimes if someone hits your site and they leave your site immediately, the time on site is very small. It makes total sense. And if you have a one-page site, well, how the heck are people going to, explore, see new parts of your site, learn, educate themselves? They can't. And is anyone going to want to return to that type of a website? Absolutely not. And with that, we really want to understand, what is the remedy? What is the best way to move forward? And what I want you to think about, and what I really am actively moving forward with over the last probably 3 to 4 years, is targeting people's passions. When people are really passionate about something, they spend money, they advocate their position to their friends and other people that are interested, they share content, they sign up for newsletters, and the same thing can be said for those kind of people that are trying to educate themselves on a certain type of a subject. And when you target demographics that are more likely to spend time, go deep, and return to your site, you're just setting yourself up for good statistics when it comes to the Panda, and you're going to have an easier time. So with that, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to think about targeting niche markets that encourage, more time on the site, more page views, return visits, and a low bounce rate.
Can I
think about
just
information
say
type
something quickly?
Sites. Think about
just to let you know a little bit about this audience. I have mailed this to my Traffic Travis list as well as my Filorama list, which means that half of the people on the webinar are information marketers and about half the people are search engine optimization professionals with clients and so forth. Just so that you know when you're talking to people, because so those people that are that might say have a client that owns a restaurant and maybe it's a 6-page website or something like that, you don't quite have to be quite as worried about some of these things, just due to the fact that everyone else in your market, maybe in your local area, only has a 6-page website. But if you're competing against, once you come up against, say, a restaurant that keeps a blog going once a week or starts adding more content and keeping interactive, you're going to be in trouble. So just think of it from that point of view for those of you that have your own clients. Obviously a lot of you guys are information marketers as well, so I'll let you carry on. So I just wanted to point that out to you just so that you knew who you're talking to.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. And I want to let you guys know, again, this is really based on what I do in the kind of internet marketing that I like to do, and I primarily create large information sites, build lists, affiliate sales. I really don't have any clients, and a lot of these tactics and the software we'll share with you later, you absolutely can use that to do better, but this is just kind of my take on how I'm moving forward with my affiliate marketing today and whatnot. So I want to share with you a success tip, and it seems pretty simple, but a lot of times I think when you really think about these kind of things and you make sure you're doing it, it can be quite helpful. Duplicate money that's been made, duplicate success, duplicate money-making websites, and I want to share with you some strategies that I've used to really get a good indication as to what kind of sites are driving traffic, what kind of value is being put on websites and whatnot. You can learn a lot of this kind of information by hanging out with real winners. I talked to Mark prior to the webinar today, and I said, hey, I'm sure I'll bump into you in New York, going to the conference. Do whatever you can to get with other like-minded people, whether it's on a forum, and I know Mark's got an awesome forum, a lot of activity. I have a forum. I think forums are very powerful. That's a really good way to get with the kind of people that can help you. And again, head to a seminar, buy someone a drink, study and focus, and pay attention to the people that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt are getting good results. Now I want to share with you a strategy that I use to basically look at niche research in a new light, in a new way. And this method leverages the buying and selling a website Flippa. So that site Flippa, as you know, you can go and you can buy a website, you can sell a website, and it's very unique because these sites are on sale. A lot of statistical information is available, such as how much traffic the website is driving on a monthly basis, how many keywords the website is ranking for, the kind of monthly earnings, niche topics, monetization methods. All this great information is shared openly, and it's really, really quite rare that someone would be willing to turn over all this data. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we hold pretty close, and we don't want to let our competition know, but because these sites are on sale, you can get a really good ideas, and you can come up with some tremendous ideas. Here's a particular case in point. This is a site I ran into, and some of the things I've been trying lately is to basically create websites based off of videos. And this site is a good example. Again, alienvideos.net. And you can see literally this site was launched August 2nd, 2011. So basically the site is just a year old now. And it's got a Google PageRank 3. It's got 25 links pointing to it. It's got 101 inbound links according to Majestic SEO, and there's 24 ranking keywords, and just by browsing the Just Sold tab, you can really get a lot of wonderful ideas on the type of sites you might want to make. So what I want to do now is I want to share with you some tactics and strategies that I use when I'm literally posting to my website. And I'm going to show you a couple sites. I'm going to show you how to curate content. I'm going to show you how to identify tons of different keywords. I want to share with you how to leverage expert content of other people that you can use to go into any niche, even if you're just getting started and you don't know a lot about the niche. And I got to tell you, Mark, this comment by Sam is really dear to my heart, because the software we're going to show you guys tonight, we spent a fair amount of time creating it. And again, it was really based on my personal needs and how I create my sites. And I thought of all the different things we could create, and a lot of times I think people make things, again, too complicated. And we wanted to have a really simple plugin that was easy to use, it wasn't overkill, and allowed anyone with just a few clicks to move forward, grab content, understand the keywords, and so on. And Sam actually posted a comment on a review of this software, and he says it's kind of like the iPod, which wasn't the first MP3 player, but it became considered the best through its simplicity and functionality. And what's funny is that I had a lot of meetings about this plugin, and that's one of the things I talked about. I want, like, Apple products are so simple and easy and whatnot, and so that was pretty cool. So what I want to do is I'm going to kind of pull up my browser here, and I'm going to go to this website here, Host Easy, and I'm going to drag this. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. Kind of open that up a little bit. And can you guys, looks like you can see my screen okay. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of show you again how I create content, and this is going to be the kind of the first takeoff point here, because I see so many people that they just have a really hard time. I just want to log into this site here. Alright guys, so like I said, I wanted to give you a little bit of information on kind of Google Penguin, Google Panda, some of the stuff that's new, some of the things we should think about. And now what I want to do is just share with you some of the strategies and tactics I use, some of the things I teach my members. And I had a coaching program last year called 300 Internet Marketers, and a lot of the tactics and strategies that we leveraged in that program have been kind of pushed through into a system. I'm going to open the site now again, and this site here is literally, it's a demo site that I use in these kind of webinars for training and teaching purposes, and primarily you can see it's based on hosting, and I've made a lot of money as an affiliate marketer just by ranking for certain kind of search terms and whatnot. You can see here's a post on HostGator, and we've also got one. Here we go, how to plant strawberries. And one of the things that I mentioned was I want to show you guys a really simple way to create content that is curated content but of the highest quality. And one of the things I started teaching was to leverage videos by experts that are clearly teaching people how to do things. You know, so much of the web is driven by people seeking out information when they're trying to learn or take in some information. And this was something that I just did kind of quickly, and you can see here all this content is based on this particular video. I'm just going to play this for a second here. Okay, so this guy here, I think his name is Mallory. All I did is I found this particular video on YouTube, and I started taking really quick notes. I took a note about ground cover. You can save money if you plant strawberries early. He mentioned the planting depth. I just start taking bullet points based on these kind of keywords, and then all I do is just rewrite the bullets based on the video, and it really allows me to create unique content in a number of different niche markets. Let me give you an idea. Let's go ahead and create a new post here. And let's do the kind of de facto dog training. It's like everyone likes to talk about dogs. I love dogs myself. Let's do actually standard poodle training. Okay, so here I have push button SEO. And I'm going to get a nice color for our pen, and I'll come back. There we go. So if you guys see this box right here, can you see that okay? Let me grab the spotter right here. In the upper right hand corner, push button SEO, and all we need to do is drop in a primary keyword phrase. And I'll put in standard poodle training, and I'm going to go ahead and click Analyze. Now it's going to give us a simple breakdown of kind of a rating that our post has. So at this point we don't have 300 words. We've got a few warning signs up top that really tell us, you know, we need to do better with our article if we want to drive traffic. We're missing a meta description and so on. So that's it kind of gets me started, and I can come in to keywords, and I can see here literally these are related searches or related keyword phrases from Google, and I can see here standard poodle training. That's the keyword I'm using, and you'll notice that term is bold. that signifies that that search term gets a little bit more searches on a monthly basis than these other ones. But I also see standard poodle training problems, guide, and tips. And this is what I really want to draw your attention to. You know, at the beginning of this webinar, I mentioned just by doing a few things, you can drive more traffic. Just by having this all at your fingertips quickly, it makes it so liberating to create great content that people like. It totally solves your problems. It puts you in the driver's seats, and it gives you a system that you can leverage. Case in point, so we've got a few keywords. I'm just going to grab these, and I'm going to use them later. I'm going to just make sure I get the text version of those. Okay, so there's the keywords, and I can save those. Now I can come back and I can click on content, and let's go ahead and save this draft. And when I save it, what's going to happen is that keyword that I put in is now going to be pushed over to the content tab, the links tab, and so on. So now you can see we're in content. We can search for images. Let's go to videos. Let's see if we get a some images here. So here's some standard poodles. We could just pop that in. So boom, you have images right at your fingertips that makes creating content so very easy. And one of the things that you should know is that, you know, Mark mentioned there's a lot of people here that know an awful lot about internet marketing. Obviously, you just can't use any image you find. Many of them are copyrighted, and if you do, you can run into problems. And a couple of high-level marketers that I know have actually been sued by Getty Images. Now, these images are all pulled in from the image service that is Common Creative, and that's Flickr. And you know for a fact that any images that show up here, you don't have to worry about running into any kind of problems with licensing and whatnot. So we can go to blogs, we can search for content, and we can actually pull in content from blogs and whatnot. I want to go ahead and just show you another post here. And this is something that I got started with earlier today. And here I thought, you know, for this website, maybe I would create a post on how to easily build a website. And I popped that into the optimizer, and I clicked the Analyze button. And you can see here the primary keyword is how to build a website. I clicked Analyze. And then from there, I went to the Keywords tab. And this is pretty much how I always create my content. I want to understand what people are looking for. And I can see one of the first terms is how to build a website like Facebook for free on a Mac with WordPress, using WordPress. So these two searches are pretty interesting to me because they kind of mean the same thing, but just by incorporating these two words, with and using, I can drive more traffic, because once I do that, it's kind of like I've got a lottery ticket for that search term. And we have other things like how to build a website from scratch. So I look at these terms and I wrote out a description based on all of these search terms. And you can see here I wrote out learn how to build a website from scratch with WordPress. Whether you're using a PC or a Mac, whether you're using a PC or a Mac, the process of building a site is quite easy, and you can do it for free. So for free, I covered that. On a Mac, I covered that. I've got with WordPress, using WordPress. I've got that in the title tag as well as the description, and it's pretty darn easy. Now, I mentioned videos. If I come back here and I go back to content, and let's go to video, and it looks like we're slight error there. It happens sometimes when we're getting a lot of people searching, but you can see here, like, this is exactly how I did this with the simply how to plant strawberries and whatnot. And I just listened to this video, and I'm really not a gardener per se, and I've got tons of in-depth information based on how to create and plant strawberries. And I just rewrote, made a few posts, pulled in an image from Flickr quickly and easily. And the next thing I want to share with you is just a little bit of information on how you can do some internal linking and whatnot. to increase the relevancy of your various pages and how to build links through your internal linking structure. And this is really a pretty powerful system. And to do that, let me go to another post here. Okay, so let's do this one right here. Let's edit this. So with the internal linking system, you have the option to create what's called SEO targets. And really what an SEO target is you just simply come in and you assign any page or post as an SEO target by clicking that little drop-down box. You click that and you click update or save, and at that point it shows up in this list, and it tells you exactly the name of the page or the post, and that's kind of what you're trying to rank for. So here we have a page on hosting a website, and here we have web hosting. So I might want to internally link that text, web hosting, to this page here, which is hosting a website, and all I need to do is just kind of click that, and it makes internal linking really, really easy, fast, and effective. And every site that I launch, I'm always going to have kind of a keyword I'm trying to rank for the home page. And you can see here the home page, the keyword I'm trying to rank for is cheap web hosting. And just by maybe we see here Linux web hosting, so that's pretty good. Let's just change this to cheap. Just by being aware in every single post or page of the keyword I want to rank for on the home page, and having this as a reminder, it makes it really easy to ensure that you're internally linking your posts and your pages to one another. And when you do that, let's kind of see this post. You can see here the links are in. They're just standard links. It works very, very well. And again, it just really enforces the structure, and it sends Google a certain kind of signal that, you know, this is what this page is about. It's about cheap web hosting. And these are the kind of things that we've built into push-button SEO. You can look at the analyzer. You can see here now on the other post that we just started, the rating was red. And the reason it was red is we didn't have a lot of the important things in place, like a title tag, a description. We weren't using various keyword combinations. And if you're really not sure, if you're just getting started, you can use the report tab. You click the report tab, and it tells you how you're doing. So here you can see we're doing well for the permalink structure, which is this right here. It says permalink. Now you might not know that on a new post. You can see here it says the priority is high. So if you click on the subject or the item rather, it tells you how important it is. So the permalink, the priority is high. Internal links is medium. Now, when you're not doing such a good job, like we don't have any outbound links, and I recommend people do some outbound linking in a strategic way to boost trust with Google. And if you click on that item again, it gives you exactly a little bit of instruction on how to move forward, how to make sure your post is optimized, and so on. So this is kind of a quick rundown of the plugin and whatnot. Let's go ahead and let's look at some of the other things that are really powerful about this plugin. I'm going to go back to the How to Plant Strawberries post. Now, one of the things I said was linking out to other sources can help build your trust with Google. Google comes by your site, they see content not found anywhere else. They see a great video that people love to watch. And, you know, early in the webinar I mentioned, you know, if you can keep people on your site longer, that's really a great thing, and it sends a signal back to Google that people like your site. And people love to watch TV. They love to watch videos. YouTube is an incredibly high traffic website. It's the second highest, most popular search engine online. And by embedding a video on your site, you're going to keep people around longer. And that's one of the things, again, that this whole system kind of works together synergistically.
Can
now,
I interject for a moment?
Yeah,
Just for people that are asking, like, well, what if I don't have the money to be able to buy this plugin and so forth? Because I kind of feel like it's really good software. I mean, I use it myself. I think it's really, really good. I just kind of feel like some people that if you don't want to buy the plugin, you're not realizing the fact that you're learning a lot of great SEO even if you don't buy the plugin. What you're noticing here is Brian's gone straight ahead and gone and given an example of how this software can go ahead and build you internal links. You know what? Even if you don't use the software, doing internal linking helps you get higher search engine rankings because because people that visit your site will on average visit more than one page of your website. By having those internal links, you're telling the search engine what those other pages are about by using the right keywords for them, but also the average person, they're not just reading the one article, it's much more usable to them. It's like Wikipedia. Usually when you visit a page on Wikipedia, you wind up clicking on a few different links to other pages. If you put in a YouTube video into your site, no, you don't need push button SEO to do it, but push button SEO can make it just a lot faster. So some of you guys are saying, yes, I'm sold. Yes, this is amazing. And you can see the benefit in the software. And then others of you are punching in saying, hey, look, this webinar is just a giant sales pitch. But it's like, no, it's more just the fact that he's teaching SEO and he's showing you how to use his software because that's what he does. You don't have to use his software to do this stuff. All of the stuff you can do, whether you have WordPress, whether you're using Drupal, whether you're using anything. You could do all of this without the software, but the software certainly would be a massive time saver. So he's showing you how to do it using the software because that's his way of doing it. But for those of you that are wondering, hey, is this just a sales pitch? Well, partly is, but partly it's not, because really you could apply this without it. The sales, without the product, and it's great SEO training. You're learning how to get higher search engine rankings. You're doing the things that get you higher search engine rankings.
Mark, one of the things I mentioned was the coaching program I had last year, and it pretty in-depth, pretty intensive. We had a good group, about 700 people in that group, and the whole concept was that a lot of people feel, I don't have anything special to offer. I don't have any, expert knowledge about these different subjects. Like, I can see weight loss is really profitable, but I'm not interested in that per se, but I might be willing to make a site. So how do I do that? And that's really a stopping point for a lot of people. And in that training program, and in this training program right now, like you said, I want to just open your eyes. It seems like it's a no-brainer. But quite honestly, if you don't make a mental note, and if you don't think, this is a system I can use, I can leverage expert content in the form of videos to create websites. I can find some great videos, maybe 20 videos on weight loss, and I can use those as a starting point to craft a website. And yeah, absolutely.
But your tool is also good for websites that are already being created. I mean, I've gone ahead and installed it on some of my older websites just so that I can get the internal linking fixed up on a lot of them where there just isn't in-article internal linking going on. And it just saves a lot of time. It's a lot faster than having being able to just grab them and see them all down the side, all my links that I want to use.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. So, good point. Yeah, there's a product for sale, but you can absolutely get plenty out of this presentation, and you can apply these methods because this is exactly how I structure my sites. There's a lot going on here. I'll mention, we've got this link navigation up top, and I kind of call that the SEO targets, and these primarily are like the 4 to 8 kind of keywords that I turn into pages or posts that are going to bring me money. I might be a product like shared web hosting or Linux web hosting, right? Or maybe someone's looking for a dedicated server. If it was weight loss, it might be a review of the six-pack abs product. Might be fat loss for weight. Is it fat loss for idiots? What's that popular one? I think it's fat loss for idiots on ClickBank. You could use that, and so this kind of structure up here, and so on. And I was also kind of mentioning that outbound links, and this is a lot of a topic that a lot of people look at it and it doesn't click right away. Like, why the heck would I want to link out to another website? And my thinking all along is that if you really create a website and you give people what they want, there's going to be no reason for them to want to leave your site. And if you have navigation to your own different posts and pages, if you have some internal linking where people can click around, they're going to visit your pages before someone else's. But if you put in a few links at the bottom of your article, and I'm highlighting this section here, to someone else's website, then Google can come along and they can see that, you know, this article has a link to another post, another website, and it's to a website that we deem a quality, and you know, we only link to sites that are ranking well. That just kind of builds the trust factor. And you know, a lot of people think PageRank is the end all be all, and quite honestly, PageRank is important. But just as important is building trust with Google, and this is a great way to do that. And to get this content in, we can use the plugin to easily, let's see here, let's go to the How to Plant Strawberries post. Let's go to blog. So under content, I can come in and I can just easily come in and search for blogs, and here we have best time to plant strawberry, Jammy's blogs, best time to plant strawberries rather. So if I want that link in my site, all I need to do is click this green button and boom. And if we update the post, you can see here, I'll refresh the page. Here's that link right here. Okay, best time to plant strawberries. Just makes your job so much easier. You're given the stuff that really makes a great blog post, from videos to images to the keywords people are searching. Everything you need is at your fingertips. Now, if we come back and maybe you want to add some snippet content, we can search again, and I'll just put my cursor here, and this is the text associated with this article, and I'll just click that green button and the text is popped in. And again, this is just a really awesome way to create content that matters to people. And you know, one of the things I want to share with you is that it's important to create content that people like. It's important to contribute to the web. It's important to craft information that, you know, people are going to like. So when they come to your site, they're going to sign up for your newsletter. They're going to share that content with their friends. They're going to click a social media button or something like this, and that can really have a big impact. So you can see this little teeny, let me pull this down, this little plugin, you know, we've got 3 major links, and within each one you can understand like how you're ranking, how the analyzation is. You can look at reports to see where you can do better. So in this particular area, the outbound link is a little weak, and I'm guessing because the keywords that we're using in our links are kind of on topic as far as the target phrase, but not quite. And then if we go back to keywords, you can see tons of different keyword suggestions. And when you're able to do all these different things, internal linking, understand the keywords, grab videos, grab images. We didn't talk about Wikipedia. So Wikipedia is in authority. Here we go, strawberry link to Wikipedia. So again, just a lot of things right at your fingertips. Makes it super simple to go into a niche that you have interest in, but maybe you're not an expert. But that interest is enough to get you started. You can start assembling some posts. You can leverage videos, and you can really create a great website that drives more traffic and makes you more money. So I hope this presentation was helpful. I hope some of the ideas I shared about the Penguin and Panda were helpful. Again, you know, this is the stuff that I do personally. It works like gangbusters, and when you start implementing a kind of a simple system, it can really have a big impact on your ability to drive more traffic and make more money.
Cool. Well,
so,
what we'll do from the rest of this webinar is we will show people the link to the product, and I know you've got some special bonuses for people, and then what we're going to do is we're going to talk SEO, because not everybody has WordPress, or not everyone is here just to buy the product. But the product, you'll see when we talk about SEO, helps you get higher search engine rankings. But whether you buy the product or not, we will still cover stuff to do with Penguin, Panda, and everything else that people are asking questions about right now. Google authorship, the works. So
awesome,
so
good stuff.
For you guys out there listening, we'll get on to that in just a moment. But for those of you asking for the link, I'll let you carry on from here.
Excellent. Mark, do you have that link that you can drop in, and I'll kind of keep on the presentation? I've got it available, but if you could post that would be cool.
I
got it, dude.
Oh, just put it in the. You've got it in the presentation,
yeah,
because otherwise people won't get it on the replay anyway.
Okay, so guys, hey, I am gonna send the link if you want to learn more about the product, the price points, and whatnot. I'm gonna go over some special bonuses. Like Mark said, I'm here to answer questions, give you some insight. Mark will share his ideas with you. Again, this plugin has kind of been Affilorama approved, right? Mark had it vigorously inspected, and Sam had some questions for me, and I shot a few videos for Sam. And he Sam kind of told me I went in, slightly skeptical, and I get that because you know what? Honestly, I'm skeptical myself. This is a solid tool, and again, just kind of bringing you back to this sentence that Sam wrote just about the simplicity. I do want to let you know, guys, that this plugin is pretty inexpensive. You can get the plugin for your 50 websites. So you can grab a license, install it on 50 sites. It'll cost you less than $100. And not only that, I wanted to do something special for Mark. I wanted to create an offer and really give you guys a kind of an over-the-top delivery on a special offer. So I'm going to offer Halloween Super Affiliate. Now, this was, again, another coaching program. I really like coaching programs where I can get in and I can do live webinars with my students and my members and share ideas. And in 2010, we released Halloween Super Affiliate to about 600 people. The product sold for $500, and it's just jam-packed with tons of helpful information. Number one, you get some pretty cool Halloween themes and skins. You get, probably like 20 webinars covering all different types of SEO, niche marketing. You get so a really in-depth package, video tutorials walking you through all kinds of stuff. And the thing I want to let you know is the training that you get inside of this program can be used whether it's Halloween, whether it's a weight loss, whether it's Forex, search engine optimization. A lot of these marketing principles are the same regardless of the topic, and the timing couldn't be better. So anyone that buys Push Button SEO today will have access to Halloween Super Affiliate. And again, this is a special offer for friends of Mark Ling. I appreciate you taking the time to see this presentation today. I would really advise you to jump on this, grab a hold of this offer, and at the same time, like Mark said, we'll answer questions. Hopefully you've got a lot out of this presentation to this point, and we'll continue. And again, the address in which you can access that special bonus offer, because it's not available on the main sales page, you need to go to pushbuttonseo.com/ML. And again, I'm just going to drop in that link in the chat box. And if you open up your toolbar and go to meeting and you see the chat section, you can click on the link and it'll take you straight to the bonus page. So again, this is truly a special offer for folks that are in Mark Ling's Affilorama. And you can see here, these are the license options that we have. You can install the plugin on one site for $67. You can install the plugin on up to 50 domains for $97. Or you can install the plugin on up to 500 domains, and you can also install it on your client site. So, Mark, you mentioned some of your members, they might do like local marketing or offline. If you're working with clients and you want to have the ease of use of Push Button SEO, you've got a bunch of sites, this is a heck of a deal at $197. And again, you'll be accessing a coaching program that originally sold for $497. And I can tell you that boatloads of people have used this course. Go to the Halloween Super Affiliate sales page and you'll see testimonial after testimonial of people really having great results with this program. And I think it's a pretty awesome offer, and I think you're going to really love it. So with that, Mark, if you want to answer some questions, and I want to let you know that it is the monsoon season here in Colorado, and we're having our afternoon thunderstorm, and Colorado City is known for lightning, and I'm seeing some of it, so if we get disconnected, I'm going to blame it on the lightning.
Cool. Well, hopefully I should still be here, regardless. But can you put the link on the screen so that people know where to go if they do want to get it?
You betcha.
And what we'll do is just take questions about anything to do with either with the plugin or anything to do with SEO at all. The first question, it's a pretty general question, but I think it's a good one. Is what is Panda and what is Penguin like, and how does that affect SEO going forwards?
So I'll give you kind of my synopsis, Mark, and feel free to interject and share your ideas. Panda was like the first big update where they really took this user-generated data. So at the beginning of the webinar, we talked about how Google is actively collecting data from visitors that visit your website, and they're using that to determine a very simple thing. Do people like your website? And if the answer is no, they really kind of put that information in the Panda algorithm, and that's why so many affiliate sites that were once doing well, all of a sudden were no longer ranking. Prior to Panda, I didn't really worry so much about user statistics. I worried more about how the algorithm works, and I just kind of gave Google what it wanted. And then once Panda came out, it was very clear that, look, you've got to make something of value, and that's really what the Panda update was about. It was about Google was amassing this user data, and now they were implementing it at a very high level, and that was a change. That was Panda. Now Penguin came along, and that was known as the over-optimization penalty. And again, a lot of websites were affected by Penguin, and one of the main criteria that the Penguin algorithm looks at is linking and anchor text variation. So we all know that links are important. If you want to rank for weight loss, you don't want all of the links coming into your site to say weight loss. It's unnatural. And Google looked at the percentages and how many different types of variations were coming into websites for anchor text. And if it looked a little phony, like basically you were building a lot of your own links and you didn't really take care to get a lot of different anchor text variation, you suffered the penalty, and that was really what the Penguin was all about. What would you add to that, Mark?
Sorry, I was just jotting down notes based on the questions, so I didn't catch all of what you'd said.
Problem.
Sorry, but
no problem.
But I've been finding with regards to getting higher search engine rankings going forwards, things that I'm doing. I'll just list off a few of the things that I'm doing. Okay, one is I've listened to a phrase that Google themselves have said, which is that great content comes from great authors, and that's why they've been pushing their own Google markup, authorship markup, quite significantly. Like, you go into the search engines and you search for anything. If you search Google for instance, search Google for SEO. Do you want to put that on your screen right now, Brian? And I'll just show you what I'm talking about, just as an example. I think that could be good.
So let's see here.
So we'll search.
So
Google
here's SEO.
SEO, and now straight away, top right.
So there's.
Yeah, yes, you've got that there. You've got top right. You've got people related to SEO. Google wants authors that they deem to be great authors related to that topic, and they have algorithmic ways of doing it, and I'll mention that in a moment. They want to show those up in the top right because they feel like if people are following those authors, they will get a lot of great content from them related to SEO, which is true. And then further down the page, you'll see content which has been claimed by authors. If you claim your content by using the Google authorship markup, you will see a little face next to your posts, like that one there. It can be a cartoon character or it can be a face, but if they don't tend to work really well if you go back now, it was on the previous page, it was right there.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm just trying to find another result here.
Oh yeah, well there's that one there anyway, but you get more with a lot of different posts. Quite often you see them there, and they get a higher click-through rate, and you know if that Google has a higher they trust your site that little bit more if they know you're a real author. And their one way that they know that you're a real author is the fact that you're using Google Plus, that you're an active user, you have friends, people like your stuff, people even Google Plus One some of your work, some of your articles, and you use the authorship plugin so that they can every post that you make gets attributed to you.
Yeah, here's a good example. So this is mine. This is my authorship image, and I couldn't agree more. This is something that everyone should be doing this. I mean, if you can get an image in your search listings, it just draws attention, and it really hits home on the authority.
Yeah.
Like how long has this been happening? I haven't seen this in the last. This must be fairly new, or is it?
I don't know. Quite a while. Not long term, but anyway, the whole theory anyway is that Google favors people that are doing real stuff. Okay, so that's so regardless of whether you use the authorship markup or not, you've got to realize that the focus has to be on doing real stuff that matters. Okay, because they know that great content comes from great people, so therefore if they start seeing you and your website as a source of quality information, it's very, very easy to get high search engine rankings. You know what, if I put up a blog post on Affilorama, it is ranking in the first couple of pages in Google for whatever title I put on it, as long as it's not ridiculously competitive, a phrase, it is ranking within 15 minutes. Okay, and that's because Google has come to trust my website as a site that matters, and the blog as a site that matters. All right, and then getting back to what Brian was teaching you, while it may seem like a bunch of sort of tactics, so to speak, like I had one guy saying, "Oh, that's just article spinning," but no, that's not article spinning, and really what it was all about finding the best content that matters. He was basically saying find great content that matters on YouTube, dissect some of the information, put it in words on the posts to make it even easier for them if they don't want to watch the video. It actually makes it easier for the search engines too. He was talking about internal linking to various articles on your website. That is doing something for the visitor. You're not just on the left hand side of your page linking to every single article on your website. You're actually while they're in the middle of reading an article on a certain topic, other related articles may be of interest to them. It's just like how Wikipedia does their internal linking. So that's the other thing I'm doing. I'm doing better internal linking with my articles when it comes to link building. Instead of just linking using every different link building strategy under the sun, I'm using link building strategies that I think are going to be around long term. I'm really trying hard to get myself links from sites that are already ranking in the top 5 or so pages in Google for search terms that I'm after. I do that by doing guest blogging and so forth. So anyway, I'm just sort of sharing some of the things that I'm doing. It'd be easier though if people ask their own questions of me and of Brian, and we can share a lot of this stuff. I think that software is fantastic. I personally don't use it for everything that it does. That's not to say that they aren't really great things. I just use it pretty much entirely just for the internal linking because it just saves time. I could do internal linking without using the software, but it's slower than if they're all just sitting there and I can just drag and drop them in and get it sorted a lot faster. Okay, and so that's the link on the screen there. So anyway, I will just try and expand my Q&A box a bit so I can see the questions a bit better. Just be a moment, because I've got a fair few. Let's have a look. Now I'm just going back up to some of the earlier questions so I don't miss them. What if you don't have a WordPress website? Does push button SEO still work for those sites? Is there something, or is it just entirely for WordPress people?
All right, so this is absolutely kind of a just for WordPress platform, and it's a plugin, and I would really recommend that you take a look at WordPress if you're not using WordPress to kind of give you the short why answer why use WordPress. WordPress is fairly easy to get started with. It's going to take you more than 5 or 10 minutes, but literally in a day or two, a few hours a day, you're going to have the base information you need to go and move forward with WordPress. And at the same time, it can grow with you, and it can be used for a multitude of different types of sites, and it can grow with you as a marketer. Mark, what do you use to build your websites?
Depends on the website, to be honest. I quite often usually I build my affiliate sites using WordPress. When it comes to my product sites, I usually build the blog part of the website using WordPress, and I'll custom create the rest of the website. That's just how I have to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a real good, straight and fair answer. You know, if I have a product, I usually worry more about the aesthetics, the sales copy, and it's easier to do an HTML page. But when I really want to focus on creating a lot of content and I want to put up a site quickly and easily, WordPress is a great system. And if I looked at all the sites that I own, I would say probably 91% or 87% are based on WordPress. It's a really great system, and you can basically add in different functionality through plugins, and you can also add in kind of the visual aesthetics through themes, different themes. So it's a pretty good system to use.
Absolutely, and you don't have to curate for all your articles. That just happens to be what Brian likes to do. You can write your own articles if you so wish. That's great, but the point is you could get people staying longer on some of your pages by adding things like video or links to other related posts on your website, so somebody doesn't just leave thinking that's all there is about, say, for instance, let's say you've got an article about beagle aggression for a dog training site. They may not realize that you've also got articles about beagles, stopping beagles from chewing or digging up the lawn or whining at night time. But if you're internal linking to those articles, they'll stay on your site longer because they may click through to those related articles because they happen to be just mentioned throughout your post. They may stay on your site longer if you happen to have a video in that particular post, and that helps both the visitor to your site because they're getting better information about whatever it is they're searching for, and it helps your search engine rankings as well. And using the software, as you could see, can make that process a heck of a lot easier.
Mark, I'll just kind of mention too that, like you, I use the software when I deem it appropriate. I don't use the software exactly the same on every single post I create. A lot of times for my marketing site, I write everything myself. I'm not going to curate content. I might use some of the functionalities to pull in my own video that I've already published to YouTube. I always use the keyword function because it's just quicker and easier. But like you said, the software offers a lot of functionality, and depending on the kind of site I'm making and how I want to move forward, I can really use the parts that I need to use.
Absolutely, and something that you covered it so fast earlier that I don't know if a lot of people would have picked up on it. You mentioned about that you quite often build a list with your websites, right? So quite often you have an opt-in, okay? And you also mentioned...
Yeah, absolutely.
And you also mentioned that that people returning to your website helps Google to trust your website more if people are returning to your website. Now with that in mind, having the opt-in, collecting names and email addresses from people makes it, or having some sort of newsletter you could just have an automated newsletter that might only have 5 articles in it that you just get emailed out that just link people back to your website, whatever it might be. Having a newsletter sends people back to your website and hence helps you get those ratios up of visitors coming to your website to repeat traffic. So if you're doing a website for a client, for instance, you could instantly make their site more trustworthy in the eyes of Google just by adding some sort of newsletter, where heck, all you might do is mail out maybe a special once a week, or mail out the recipe or the soup of the day, or it could be anything. That's just for a restaurant, or it could be something different. If it was for a dentist, maybe automatically once a week, for even if it's only for the first 4 weeks, you might just give tips on how to make your teeth look whiter, how to make them make you less likely to get cavities, whatever it might be. But it's sending people back to your site. Google's realizing people are returning to that website and they're trusting you more as a result. So I thought I'd point that out, and he's gone and drawn on the screen just an example from his vegan blog or website where he's got his opt-in right there. Notice he's also got social media buttons at the top. Never even talked about it on this webinar, but there's a lot of plugins that do that, where he's got the Facebook likes, the retweet button, the Google Plus One button, and the other share button. And Google and other search engines, I don't know how prominent it is in their rankings factors, but it is part of their rankings factors. Just seeing that people are participating, they're actually recommending your stuff using those social media channels, so to speak. The Google Plus One is an obvious one. So Dan has asked, do you regard your software as capable of creating compelling link bait?
Can the software create compelling link bait? I think it's really in the hands of the user. So, can Pablo Picasso's paints create a masterpiece? No, absolutely not. Can the right tools simplify the process? Can you get ideas instantly? I mean, there's a lot of things that the plugin absolutely can help to make your life easier. It can feed you ideas. It can give you ideas. You can look at news stories. I didn't even go into the whole news kind of thing. You can see what's happening kind of in real time, current news stories and whatnot, and you can use that to create link bait, and that would be helpful. But at the same time, if you really want to create high-level link bait, you're going to have to add some of your own ideas and whatnot to a type of a post to do that. But what I can tell you again is that when you have these kind of tools available, it certainly makes it easier. And on the last kind of page, I kind of shared this vegan blogger site. This is a good example. There's nothing really fancy here, but the people that are finding this site, I mean, these are real likes. There's sometimes I hear great ideas about outsourcing, and sometimes I hear terrible ideas about outsourcing. These likes and the retweets and whatnot, this is just people coming to the site and clicking like and sharing, and we started building an email list several weeks ago, and all these things kind of work together as far as link bait, driving traffic, social singles. Earlier, Mark, you mentioned like Google authorship, and just create something that matters. And what I think we have here with push button SEO is a set of tools that can make it easy to find new content that matters, to put your own spin on it, to interject some of your own ideas, to make sure you've got the right keywords. So can it do it for you? No. And quite honestly, I'm going to be honest and tell you that anybody that says, a tool can create link bait, I think you're going to be sorely mistaken. But this is a good step in that direction of simplifying the process.
Todd has asked, he says, I have an e-commerce site with 80,000 products on it. I have a blog on my site that I create in my shopping cart back office. Is a WordPress plugin of any use to me? Can I make an article in WordPress and cut and paste it into my non-WordPress blog? So he's wondering if the plugin's of any use to him, but he's made the blog's not a WordPress blog, so I guess the plugin's not of any use to him, but hopefully the tips here are. If you want to share your website, maybe we could even go over it and I can have a look at it and see what I can notice off the top of my head, just straight out looking at it. Maybe I could give you some tips right away for boosting things. Have you got any answers to that? Any other things to add?
I think honestly, what you said is kind of the real answer, right? I mean, if you have a blog, I think a better way to go would be to create a blog using WordPress in a directory and then link your merchant site to the WordPress blog, and that way you've got the functionality of WordPress and all the good stuff that goes along with it. Now, could you use some of the keyword ideas? Yes and no, but and copy and paste. I think that's kind of a roundabout way, and you could do things manually and get the same information, and probably would take you just as long, and you'd save yourself $100. So if you're really excited about the plugin and maybe your blog's new, then maybe it makes sense to launch the WordPress blog and use that as your blog. Otherwise, I would just continue working in the way that you are, but use the strategies that we shared today, and definitely things like Google authorship is great to use. Use a plugin that can provide those social buttons on your blog. All these kind of things can help and kind of stack the deck in your favor.
I've had several people asking me, how has backlinking changed post Penguin and post? I've got my own answer to that. I'd like to hear yours first, though.
So I've kind of had a certain kind of stance on link building for the last 2.5 years. Basically, just prior to 2011, so about 1.5 years or so. And here's what I think is most important. And Mark, it really aligns perfectly with your statement that came from Google, and that is, good content comes from good authors. And when you want links, you don't need 1,000 million damn links. You need a couple powerful links from quality websites, and when you get that, you will get what you're after. I see so many people, and they're enticed by the idea that this new wonder tool can drive 10,000 links to your website. Well, chances of those 10,000 links being quality is thin to none. But if you can get literally a dozen quality links from different websites, it can have a dramatic impact on your ability to rank. And that's really what I've been focusing towards over the last few years. This website that you're looking at is a PageRank 4. It's been online for less than a year. I've got exactly what I just shared with you. I've got about 12 or maybe 14 links that I had a hand in getting, and they're from very high quality vegan sites. And when I was done with that, I was done with my link promotion, because I much rather focus on creating that quality content that matters. So that's my take today, and it's only going to hedge more in that direction. So, tools are great, but sometimes I think people can get caught up in looking for tools that promise too much and do too much when you don't need to. So fewer high-quality links wins the day time and time again.
Absolutely. Now, to me also, part of it is just simply that Google is trying really hard to give more and more weighting to people that, when they do their link building, they do it in a more, how do I say it, in a way that actually matters. Like if there were no such thing as link building affecting your search engine rankings, why would you do link building? You would do link building because there are websites out there that have traffic that is relevant to your niche, and you are trying to get them to link to your website. Or you would do link building by accident because you've got such great content that people are writing about it on their blogs and so forth, and it would be linking to your website. So you'd be thinking about real visitors are visiting those sites, and they are relevant to you, and you're getting links back to your site. And that's why I started link building several years ago. I just did link building just to get the traffic from it. I didn't even know that it helped me in Google, because Google wasn't even a big search engine in the year 2000. Yahoo was. the major search engine. Didn't help my search engine rankings at all, but boy did it boost my search engine rankings once Google came along, because I didn't even realize all this link building I was doing just from good business sense, happened to pay off for me when it came that Google became the place of choice for most search engine people. So when you're doing your link building, think with that in mind, like what sites actually are real sites that matter to your niche. And then furthermore, if you're going to do other forms of link building, just to spread out your anchor text and so forth, or to do things that you don't have to do it, but if you are going to do it, and I do it to a degree, so it's a small degree though. The real problem is if you make it the 80% of your business rather than the 25%. If you are going to spin articles, if you're going to put up link wheels and do all those sort of things, then try to make it part of the 25 to 30% of your link building strategy, as opposed to the 70 or 80%. Secondly, make sure that you spin articles that matter. If you make a spun crappy article and populate it everywhere, then it's not really going to help a lot. It's going to be seen by the search engines as crappy. Any visitors that visit that article are not going to stay and read it, and it's not really helping you. But if you happen to have some really good quality content in the original article before it gets spun, then it's going to do a lot better for you. Secondly, if you do an article spin, make sure that when that article is spun out to be unique, that A, it is unique, like it's spun well, and B, it reads well in proper English. So no rushed spins using automated spinning software. You need to do the spin yourself and do it properly. So that's why quite often people do better just not to do article spinning at all, because they can't be bothered doing it properly, so you're better off not doing it. But if you can be bothered doing it absolutely properly, then it's great. Same with link wheels as well. Do it properly or don't do it at all. And not doing it at all isn't that bad, because a lot of sites are starting to rank really well these days without even doing that sort of thing. And secondly, like other forms of links which may or may not help are just simply getting people that happen to have a lot of followers or so forth tweeting your stuff, Google Plusing your stuff, and so forth. And then that can be as simple as just putting those social media buttons on your pages. So yeah, I mean, I hope that's helpful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take new questions, because I had so many questions during the course of this webinar that and some people have left the webinar while I was answering so many of the questions and so forth, that I would rather just take all the new questions. So sorry if you've already asked a question, just punch it in again, and feel free to ask it. We'll take, say, 10 more minutes worth of questions, and then we'll wrap up. I've got John saying, what is the best option for those of us that are website designers with specific clients that want to maximize their business?
I think anytime you can teach yourself to automate certain tasks, when you can have kind of a system in place, that's the first thing I said on this webinar. Have a system, simplify it, and move forward. Now, I can kind of give an analogy of when I was doing AdSense and eBay. I came up with a system. I used the same theme on every site. I found a certain kind of a product through eBay. I launched these sites, I used the theme, I put in a new header, and I went on to the next, and I basically created a small factory for myself. And once I had it up and running, I basically handed it off to an employee, and they did it, and I made money. Now, if you've got clients, you can have a certain amount of different site templates that you show people. You can have different kind of headers that you modify. You can have and create a system for yourself that will allow you to kind of scale your business and ultimately get more done in the same amount of time and make more money. That would be my suggestion.
Seth just says, does your plugin have LSI, like latent semantic indexed words, which are, for those of you that are wondering, they're like niche relevant words that are relevant to your article? Does it have them?
It does, and actually what it has is, let's see if we go back to optimizer, and we're going to go into keywords. So here you see related searches, and if we scroll down, we see related keywords. Okay, so strawberry, how to plant strawberry, and sure enough, bed comes up. So strawberry bed, berries relates. So really kind of an interesting way that we gather this data, and this is, I call this human-powered LSI because it's leveraging YouTube and the kind of tags that people tag to their videos. And we pull these back, and when we see a lot of tags that match, like a lot of people continue to use garden as a tag, we bold that to let you know that that's more pertinent. So I think, how to plant strawberries in garden is a pretty good related keyword. Now some of these can be used obviously to incorporate that into your content, and you're gonna do better.
Cool. How do you handle the potential for keyword cannibalization? Sophie's asking on niche sites.
Say that again. Keyword what?
Cannibalization. I think she's just basically saying, overdoing it.
That's a new one by me. It sounds really scary, and it is almost Halloween, but I don't know. Do you know what?
Well,
is that a term that you guys are using? Or?
No, it's not a term that I'm using, so I'm not 100% sure what it means, but I think it probably just means over-optimizing your stuff. But I guess if you visit any one of your pages and you think, you know what, that's exactly what someone searching for that phrase would have been looking for, it's linking off to the different articles or whatever that person would have been interested in, then you probably don't have much to worry about. I had one friend of mine that had did a website in the past that was all on car insurance. I think it was car insurance, or some kind of insurance. Anyway, so he had if someone visited his car insurance New York page, he would see links people would see the links on the left-hand side to car insurance Los Angeles, car insurance Chicago, car insurance Miami. You know what? That's terrible, because someone looking for car insurance in New York, they're not at all interested in those other things. So they should literally be all summed up in a single link saying car insurance in other states or something like that. And then if someone clicked on it, then they could find those different states. What they should have had, and what they changed to doing, and this helped them get back into the search engines and ranking well again, was other things related to car insurance in New York, like different car insurance companies and write-ups and reviews of those different companies, for instance, or perhaps even links to quotes pages or different types of car insurance for different types of vehicles and so forth in New York. So really, if you're doing all of these things and making sure your site is set up for the visitors, you shouldn't have a problem there. Do you update your plugin as needed when WordPress puts out their updates? I've had that asked.
Yeah, actually, we've had we launched the plugin at the end of April, and we've had, I think, about 2 updates at this point, and we have the opportunity to change certain variables and add functionality. So that is something that we'll continue to do, and it's really out of necessity. We use this plugin ourselves. It really drives our websites. It helps us in a number of ways. So it's in our best interest to keep it in line with what's happening now and whatnot. So absolutely.
Okay, now Val is asking, you do have to provide attribution for a lot of Flickr photos. Does your plugin pull in the attribution, or do people have to go and look that up?
It actually does it automatically. So do you notice this right here?
Yep.
Boom. So it basically, we've got that taken care of.
Great.
The plugin was created by a very skilled developer, and we want to, again, the idea is to make it simple for you, to take away the worry, so you can focus and prioritize your energy on the most important things that can help you achieve your desired goal. So worrying about a Flickr attribute is not a good use of your time. So the software does that for us.
Fantastic. JL was asking, what's the importance of meta keywords since Panda?
I've been telling people not to use meta keywords for about 3 or 4 years now. Google does not pay any attention whatsoever to meta keywords. And at this point, we've even gone into the plugin, and at one point, we gave an incredibly small push up in the rankings or the algorithm of our plugin if you put in a meta keyword for other search engines like Bing or Yahoo. But we've actually removed that, just thinking where things are going to go with Google, and I don't think it's worth your time or energy to think about it. In fact, like I said, we're doing our best to ensure people don't use that moving forward. I don't think you're going to get in trouble by using it, but I can tell you at this point that Google has not used that in any of their algorithm for a number of years now, and that comes not from me but from Matt Cutts, if you've heard of his name.
It's not used what, sorry?
The meta keywords.
Oh, right, okay. No, but it is good to have, not necessarily meta keywords, but meta description, just for the sake of being able to choose.
Yeah, the meta description, hugely important. Meta keywords, not so important.
Yeah. Brian's saying, if I want to write an article on setting goals, how would I know what to put as the title and what should be the main keywords to use that are, say, not too competitive?
Yeah, so the thing that I try to instill on people, and I think this really fits in nicely with your whole, good authors create good content, and that's what we're trying to find as far as Google's perspective. If I want to create an article on goal creating, I'm going to create the best article I can, and when that article is done, I'm going to then say, what kind of keywords should I be paying attention to? At the beginning of the process, I'm going to come in and let's go back to posts. So here's an example of, here we go, how to easily build a website. So this was my example earlier. So if I was going to create a really great article, I wouldn't worry so much about individual keywords early. The first thing I do is I'd want to know what people are searching for, but then I'd basically create the article I wanted to create that I think people would be interested in. So I'd pay attention to these, and then I'd kind of focus on a certain direction, and I'd move forward with that. Now at that time, when I was done, I would then, maybe if I was going to write this article, I would focus more on WordPress. Do you remember the description? I talked a little bit about how to create a website from scratch with WordPress. Right. I mentioned another keyword with WordPress. So at that point, maybe I would go back then and I would analyze keywords for how to build a website with WordPress to even fine-tune it. So I kind of take it in sections, and I first just get an idea of what people are searching for.
Yep.
I identify the exact article I want to write. I write that, and then I go back again and I fine-tune my keywords. And I think that approach of worrying about the content first and fine-tuning at the end, you're really giving the focus to the visitors and the people reading rather than the robots. And
totally.
Over time, that has a bigger impact. When I write articles for my marketing website, I write what's coming out of my heart. I wrote a really good article probably about 3 months ago. It was just about like the state of the industry and whatnot, and I didn't worry about keywords, but at the end I said, okay, well, what keywords make sense? And I think that's the best way to move forward.
Cool. For people that want to know how, okay, let's say I'm not using the tool, how can I get these sort of keywords? Well, you could just use, say, ubersuggest.org. I think that's a good one. Do you want to just load that up in your browser?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, obviously the plugin makes it easier. It's right there. But I'm just saying this is another tool that you may wish to use. So Ubersuggest.
All right, here we go.
And this just scrapes stuff out of Google like that people type in. So you could type in something like German Shepherd problem or something. No, how about we do something more interesting? Why do men?
Okay.
Suggest, because there's a lot of women asking, why do men?
This could be tricky, Mark.
Yeah, but your article may not even cover everything that's in that comes up here, but it'll give you ideas. Some like why do men have nipples? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. See, book, and that's
there's probably a
actually,
book title
maybe
called
that's
that.
a Kindle book or something.
Maybe. Why do men like younger women? Why do men hit women? Why do men abuse women? You might have already written an article all about why men pull away, say, for instance, and then within that article you may have mentioned certain topics, or you might want to even add an extra couple of paragraphs on why do men cheat, or why men do this and that, why do men... and you can basically come up with more ideas for your article before you write it or even after you write it, just to get your keywords right. So there's all sorts of things. Why do men...
Awesome. Good tool there for free.
Yeah. So yeah, just for people interested. But obviously you're getting a lot of great stuff straight out of your tool. I just thought I'd share that for people. Going back to... we'll put the link back on the screen just so people have got it in case they're...
You bet, no problem.
So, or for anyone watching the replay that might have fast forwarded to this point, here's the link. Does your plugin work for different regions like Spanish or French or whatever, or is it just English?
Yeah, it actually does, and we've got foreign language support too, so you can get the menus in different languages as well.
Cool. And does this help people boost their rankings in, say, Bing or Yahoo?
I think so. A lot of the search engine tactics and tips that you want to use are going to help in these other search engines as well. I focus primarily on Google. 70% of the searches are there. But at the same time, when you make these kind of changes, those are going to be a positive thing in these other search engines, can help you drive more traffic. That's kind of how I view it, and I think you'd be doing well in that regard.
Do you have duplicate content issues with the way you pull content and stuff?
Well, really what I suggest is that people be aware of how much content they're pulling, and quite honestly, the way you don't want to use this is to find a video and pull in 10 different snippets and think you're done. Really do things the way I showed. Rewrite the content based from a video. That's such a powerful way, because you're creating unique text content, and you can come up with 200, 300, 400 words pretty quickly. And then if you supplement that with a few snippets, the percentage of unique versus duplicate is hedged way in the favor of the unique. And then when you write a unique description and title tag, and you do these kind of things, the end result is you're still going to be able to rank fine. Now, again, it's a tool, and the way I don't suggest you use it is just to pull in snippet after snippet. That's not going to really do anybody any good.
Right. So I have Camille saying, I link internally in my content pages, but can you link too much internally or in product pages? So in every product, a lot of content links. Isn't that link spamming?
So what I do is I just say, when it makes sense. Like, okay, the article is done. If I'm talking about why do men like feet or have nipples or whatever, I might, if I've got another article on that subject, I'm going to link to it. I'm not going to just sit there and cram in tons of links, because I think it defeats the purpose. I live by a simple rule, and I ask myself, hey, is this good for the people that are going to read this content? Is this decision I'm going to make good for those people that are going to find this article? And if you do internal linking and you make it useful for people, that's the right way to go. And usually for me, that's anywhere between 2 and 3 or 4 internal links, and maybe 1 or 2 outbound links, and that might be a 500 or 600 word article, and that's just fine. I don't try to do anything artificial. If it seems like I'm starting to force it, just doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. And if it doesn't fit into your article itself, but you think it's relevant, all you have to do is maybe at the end of your post, you can just put other related articles, and then link to a few more of your related articles straight underneath it. That's or off to the side. So that's another way of doing it. Okay. We've got a lot of questions that have been typed in. I'm sorry that we can't get to all of them. I might just say we'll take the last 4, say. Is that okay with you, Ryan?
Yeah, 4 is fine, and then
Yeah, and then
yeah,
we'll wrap
kind of
up.
a strong Q&A session and a little bit of training. That sounds 3 or 4 questions, no problem at all.
Cool. Well, I've had a few people asking me, um, would you ask Brian what WordPress theme he used for his vegan blogger website?
Yeah, that is Flex Squeeze. And when you buy the plugin today, you'll get access to Flex Squeeze Lite, which is only available when you buy certain products through me. I've got a deal with the vendor, so you'll actually get a theme that looks about exactly the same. You can change the colors, you can change the backgrounds, you can change the look and feel of your site, and that's part of the deal. So you'll actually have access to a theme that's very similar to what you're seeing.
I've had Dan saying, it's not a question, he's just saying if you rewrite content, it can actually be easier at times to write your own content. And I think that's correct. For me personally, I find it easier actually to make my own content. But then I meet other people that's anything but making their own content is easy. Depends who you are, what your niche knowledge is, what um, you know. I'd say, yeah, I mean, absolutely. If you're good at making your own content, and I find it easier to research and write my own content, that's great. And push button SEO is not all about content curation. If you're writing your own content, then it's still helpful in that it's helping you do your internal linking better. It's helping you, if you do want to just go back through and brush over any bit of content that you put out there with a few latent semantic indexed words and so forth. So it's helpful in terms of it analyzing your page for SEO optimization. But at the end of the day, if you're going to get higher search engine rankings, you want to have great content that matters, and you're going to want to do good link building that matters, and probably even, at least this is what I prefer to do, claim authorship as well through Google's authorship as well.
Absolutely.
And add those links and so forth. If you've got social media link buttons, if you've got content that matters, you're more likely to get them +1 and so forth. Actually, I'll just give you an example though. Go to Google. I don't even know where I'm ranking for this. I'm just going to look up what my latest blog post was. Google.com slash search. I'm just going to Filorama.com. I'm on my computer now, but you guys can't see it. That's right. Just type in organic growth plan for niche websites. It's a bit of a mouthful. It's not very impressive if I am ranking for it, because that's quite a long tail phrase. But the fact is, and I am ranking for it, as you can see on Brian's computer now. I'm ranking number 1. Okay, the fact is that post was only put up a few days ago. Okay, and yet it's number 1 in Google. All right, so that says already that, and it's got my photo next to it. So Google must trust me somewhat. I've been very slow to get in on Google Plus circles. I've only got 264 people at the time of, which is not very many for an internet marketer to have. But I've only really started using Google Plus, in the last week or so. Really, I've had Google Plus set up just so I can have my photo next to my post, but haven't really been actively using it. But the more actively I use it, I figure the better for my users and the better for my likely long-term SEO rankings, because Google will trust me more as a real person. But the idea, what I'm saying here is that this is just an example of using the authorship, and just the fact that if you start building content that matters, this wasn't spun content or anything. This was stuff that just came out of my head. And you know what? I didn't even SEO optimize the article. Didn't even do that. Because sometimes you're not going to SEO optimize your work. Sometimes you've got readers already. Go click on that post right now. You've got readers already. You're just creating content for those readers. And you know what? It has had a lot of visitors to that content because A, I'm building a list, so I've mailed it out, and B, people have Facebook liked it, 42 people, 17 people have retweeted it, 36 people have Google Plus 1'd it, 78 people have commented on on this particular post. So, traffic's coming from all sorts of sources, not just Google. It's coming from Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus One, from my own list that I built from, So I'm just basically showing you just how it, there's more to it than just looking at it straight out from a ranking sense. Okay, let's take two more questions. Okay, Dan's saying lots of people don't want an article, they just want to buy something. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And you know what? You could have a website that was full of e-commerce products with absolutely no articles, and if it's appropriate for your niche to have it that way, because we're talking a lot about information product type niches, and it's appropriate for your niche to have it that way without articles or anything, then that's great. So you got to think, but you'll still want to probably add things like Facebook like buttons, retweet buttons, Google Plus buttons, customer reviews where people can use Google's markup. You can use Google's markup or whatever so that it can you can see the customer ratings. Even when you're searching Google, it'll show the number of ratings and so forth. You could have it show, so your content could merely be descriptions of the products plus different customers' ratings of those e-commerce products on your website. I mean, there's a lot that can be done. I guess this webinar was more targeted at information marketers just because that's what Brian is. Brian markets and promotes information type products. But I can see how, if you look at it from an Amazon.com point of view, for instance, they've got a lot of content, but a lot of that content happens to come from its users reviewing the products. And within the products themselves, most of them are just all focused around the buy button and getting people to buy. I have Mario saying, if we buy the 50 site version, can we upgrade to the 500 version later?
Yeah, we actually just put in place an upgrade path, so that is something that's available, and we just recently switched over to ClickBank. I'm not aware if that upgrade path is available for ClickBank, but we will make it available soon just because we've got a number of people that have asked about that, and we want to provide that. So I honestly think that really the 50 website option is really a good way to get started. Get your hands on the plugin, use it some. If you want it then for the remaining websites, we will have an upgrade path in the future.
Do you know what
available.
the cost would be for that?
Well, it would be the difference between the two. So
okay, that sounds great. Okay, I'll just say one more question. I'll let anyone type in a new question right now. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and then I'll just take what I think is the best one out of the new questions that pop in next 30 seconds. And for anyone that's asked about a bonus, you're getting the Halloween super affiliate bonus, which teaches you how to do niche marketing in the Halloween niche and get rankings and so forth, but it applies to any topical niche like Halloween, Christmas, New Year's, the works, Thanksgiving, and that's a product that Brian has sold for $500 in the past, so it's really good. Okay, I've got a lot of questions have come through, and I'm just having a quick browse through them. Which one am I going to go for? Okay, I'll ask you two more questions. Are there any copyright problems associated with using other people's YouTube videos?
Not a problem. We're actually leveraging an API, which is a kind of fancy word for Google gives us an easy way to grab the videos, and the only videos that they make available are videos that people have released the copyright. So people are excited that you're using their videos, so that's not an issue at all.
Okay, great. Okay, in the case of review of a product review website, how do you attach artist album pictures without infringing on the copyrights?
This will take me back to when I got started as an affiliate marketer, and I was doing some stuff with art.com, and I know, Mark, you did some affiliate marketing with All Posters, I think it was. And I did websites about artists like Van Gogh and Picasso, and I would use actually the images from these programs to promote. So oftentimes, if you look, you can find certain kind of images that will work, and you don't have to worry about copyright infringement. It's just a matter of kind of digging around, and you do want to be careful if you're using any kind of like an artist's work. You want to make sure you do have the rights. I don't know your specific case, but that worked really well for what I was doing at the time.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to say a big thank you for sticking around and answering so many questions. I think you put push button SEO software. I think that's great, and also for people that aren't buying push button SEO, we've covered a lot of SEO training and tips on this particular webinar that are up to date for 2012 and beyond in a post-Panda and post-Penguin world. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed the webinar. And I want to say,
well, awesome, Mark. It was my pleasure. Thanks a lot for having me. And, guys, the last thing I'd leave you with is just believe that it's possible and get out there, take action, and, like Mark said, create something that matters and leverage some knowledge that you have, or leverage the tools that we talked about, and it can really have a big impact, and you'd be amazed where you can go. So thanks again. Last call, pushbuttonseo.com/ML. I'll drop in that link in the chat, and you'll have access to Halloween Super Affiliate and the plugin. So take action on that, and we'll be looking for you, and we'll get those prize winners out their prizes in the next 24 to 48 hours. So thank you.
all right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Take action with what you learn, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.